G'day cocktail lovers. If you're like me, when there's a thing you're obsessed with and you discover something new about it, that's a pretty big day. Regulars on this channel will not be surprised to hear me say, I'm kind of obsessed with milk clarifying cocktails. I think it's a fascinating process and produces really tasty results. If you're completely unfamiliar with it, it's fairly straightforward. You add a cocktail that has some acidic content to milk, just ordinary dairy milk, and the milk will curdle, the drink will separate, you leave it stand for a while, then pour it through a fine filter, and the milk curds will absorb colour and harsh edges of flavours, and you get this beautiful clear cocktail. Arguably a drawback of this is the necessity for an acidic content, and so many great classic cocktails don't have an acidic element. So if you make, say, an old-fashioned and want to clarify it, put a bit of lemon juice, or in my case I've done it with orange juice, and it's an interesting end result, but the citrus element takes most of the flavour and it tastes less like an old-fashioned. Open the doors to a brand new method, no acid. It was apparently discovered by accident. I will double check my notes, by a Daniel Villa, a bartender at Supperland, which is a restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. Would you believe it? The secret is powdered milk. It's this interesting process where you take powdered milk, you bake it for a little while. The average is 15 minutes at 375 Fahrenheit. You want to bake it just till it starts to change color, essentially. And if it's dairy milk, it'll start giving off like a burnt butter aroma, a really nice aroma, I will say. Then you reconstitute that, and that milk, through some magical process that's involved the powdering and the bakering, it will spontaneously want to separate the way citrus makes regular milk separate, so you don't need to add the citrus. You just get your cocktail and add it to this reconstituted milk, and you can filter it. You can also do it with powdered coconut milk, and I had some powdered coconut milk, so experiment time! I got some regular full cream powdered milk and then some coconut powdered milk. Spread them each out on a tray, put that in the oven for 15 minutes at 375 Fahrenheit, and then got it out. I was worried I'd left it in a bit long. The coconut milk in particular really significantly changed color, but I went ahead and reconstituted it, and I was really dubious about the coconut milk. It was very brown, and I've had problems using coconut milk in milk clarifications in the past. It's often very fiddly, and this had gotten a really weird consistency. Tasted great, but had a weird consistency. But I went ahead and I actually used what I had left over of a barrel-aged old-fashioned, the two experiments. So I put half of it into reconstituted dairy milk and half of it into reconstituted coconut milk. In both cases, the separation happened really nicely. Weirdly, with the coconut milk, the curds floated on top, and with the dairy milk, the curds were on the bottom. So again, I was really concerned that coconut milk wasn't going to work, but I poured them through a coffee filter each. There's a little trick. The curds have to settle in the filter, so the first bit that goes through won't be completely clear, and you'll need to run that through again, or alternatively, run the entire drink through the filter more than once, and you get it out the other side. And lo and behold, it worked. And so to really show this off, obviously I'm going to pour this over some big chunks of my sexy clear ice, and I'm going to use my favorite garnishes for an old-fashioned, a twist of orange peel and a maraschino cherry on a skewer. There is considerably more color in these than in a drink that's clarified with citrus. That's one difference. It's beautifully clear, shows off the clear ice nicely. Actually, it's like, as it cooled down, some oils are coming out of solution in the coconut one, not so much in the dairy one. It's staying very clear. And that's a little tip as well. Maybe you want to keep it in the fridge. Your mileage may vary from mine, but sometimes, not all the time, sometimes when I put a clarified cocktail in the fridge, it's like the change in temperature makes the fats, the oils come out of solution, and it gets a bit cloudy again. So maybe you just want to wait and pour it over ice. And as you can see, it is actually going, it's a little bit cloudy in this one, but I have not yet tasted these. So I'll taste them live on camera, first to see what they're like generally, and also can I tell the difference between dairy and coconut milk. So this is the dairy milk one. Oh, you see, that's an old-fashioned. The acidity isn't there. Oh, and just the creaminess that's been added by the milk. And the fact that you toast the milk powder, ooh, it's almost a creme brulee flavour in there. I'm going to make so many of these. That is so good. Now I'm going to taste the coconut milk one. Oh yeah, that is noticeably different. Very subtly coconut flavour, but it doesn't have that sort of creme brulee flavour that the dairy has. But holy hell, they are so good. This is such an amazing discovery. To me, at least, this is fantastic. Oh my god, I am loving these. Well, I did promise Mrs. Angry she'd get to taste these as well, so I'll take them out and she can choose which one is her favourite, and I'll have the other one. And I hope you will be back sometime soon, because I'm going to be doing all sorts of cocktails. And look, honestly, doubtless I am going to do more of these as well, because now there's a whole new world for me to explore. Be great if you explored it with me. I'll see you another time. In the meantime, back on my double fisting bullshit. Cheers.